everyone, and welcome to Write Out Loud Studio. This is Karen, and today is part 2 of the construction of this folio. Today we're going to be concentrating on this section right here, which includes this flap with a notepad and this flip out that has a pocket, this little flip out, this little mini notebook. Okay guys, my microphone decided to cut off, so I'm going to do a voiceover on a portion of this video. To get started on this section, we need 2 pieces of music paper or whatever decorative paper you choose to use. Cut at 4.5 inches wide by 9 inches tall. You need a piece of file folder that is cut at 5 inches wide by 9 inches tall, and you want to score a line a 1/2 inch down the left hand side and miter the corners. You want to create a notepad that is 4 inches wide by 8.5 inches tall. You can make your notepad any size that you want. I attach a piece of file folder to the back and then put a piece of decorative scrap over the top and glued that down. You need a piece of decorative paper for the flap cut at 5 inches by 3.5 inches tall. You want to score a line down the left hand side and miter the corners. Another piece of decorative paper for the envelope cut at 5.5 inches wide by 9.5 inches tall, and you want to score a 1/2 inch around the left, the bottom, and the right, and then miter the corners. I'm using magnet closures for this flap. You can attach the magnet to the flap first before you cover it with notebook paper. And the notebook paper there is cut at 4.5 inches by 3.5 inches tall. The file folder piece that I used was the part that still had the tab on it. This is optional, I just happen to like the look of it. But once you place your magnet in there, turn your envelope over and it will find the magnet on the flap automatically, and once it does, then you just tape it down with some masking tape. For this first sheet of music paper, I have cut 2 1/4 inch holes using just a hole punch, and I'm going to slice a slither of paper out of the middle of those 2 circles where the notepad will eventually slide down into. You want to ink your paper up before you glue it down. Here I'm getting ready to attach the paper, music paper, to the back of the flap, and I'm realizing I should have added that music paper before I cut out the slot, but it's all good. It still worked out. Now it's time to attach the pocket, and you want to make sure when you do this that the hinge is on your right side. Here I'm just gluing down the sides of the pocket. You'll see later that it would have been a better idea to only glue the edge closest to the pocket because my glue interfered with my ability to put the notepad inside the slot. Here I'm putting in a ruler inside the slot just to make sure the glue doesn't attach itself to places I don't want it to. And you'll see later that this did not help me much. I'm inserting some plastic cards just inside the top of that flap. So the opening doesn't get glued down. Okay, while we wait for that last piece to dry, we'll go ahead and start working on the next flap. You'll need 2 pieces of music paper cut at 5 inches wide by 6 inches tall, and a piece of file folder cut at 5 1/4 inches wide by 6 1/2 inches tall. You want to score along the top 1/2 inch and miter the corners. I'm going to attach a piece of music paper here, but first I'm going to ink it up. Now we need to add a little policy closure here at the top. Usually I don't just eyeball it about 1/2 inch in from the score line. I'm gonna go ahead and measure and find the actual middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1/4. Roughly about right there. This is 2 pieces of file folder glued together with a piece of decorative paper glued to the top. I'll go ahead and ink that before I attach it. One thing that's a good idea to do is before you tighten that down, put something under it. To give you a little bit of space to tie the string in. Put a piece of masking tape over that. Burnish that down really good. And now we have some space under there to tie our string. All right, since this piece goes here on top, When you flip it open, you want to make sure whatever paper you put on the back side of this is going to be oriented the correct way. So attached here is this pocket. Need a piece of decorative paper cut at 6 1/4 inches wide by 6 1/2 inches tall. You want to score a 1/2 inch on the right hand side, across the bottom, and on the left hand side, and then miter the corners. Then ink this up. And before we glue that down, there's a flap that goes right here. You need to cut a piece of decorative paper 4 1/2 inches wide by 5 1/4 inches tall, and then a piece of notebook paper on the back that should be 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches tall. And then, totally optional, a tab can be put on the side here. So before we put the pocket down, you want to glue this flap to the left hand side. Center it as best you can. So we'll do that right now. This looks like it's starting to get a little bit of a weak place there in the crease. So just to strengthen that before I glue it down, I'm going to put a piece of washi tape across there. Trim that off. Alright, I think that's good. Go ahead and get this glued down here. Alright, remember, keep yourself oriented. Tab goes at the top, it opens this way. Pocket goes on this way with the opening in the top. the next part that we need to do is to attach this and attach this at the top. If you want to decrease a little bit of the bulk, although it doesn't bother me that much, you can cut a little off of here or a little off of here. I'm going to cut just a smidge more off of this tab or hinge. Okay. You want to make sure when you glue this down that you don't interfere with the closure on that spine. So it's not maybe a 1/16 of an inch away from that score line. So we'll go ahead and glue this down. While that's drying, you want to make sure you keep the pressure off of the hinge as much as possible while you're pressing it down, because it's going to want to lift up on you if you do. Give that a few minutes to dry. All right, and then we want to attach this to the top. Again, you want to make sure you're not interfering with anything being able to close up. I'll put a little sprinkling of art glitter glue on here just to help it grab up a little bit quicker. I think I've got this in the exact place that I need it to be. Now that we have those two main parts down, we want to mat this section right here with another piece of music paper. That paper needs to be cut at approximately 5 3/8 inches wide by 9 inches tall. Now all of our little hinges are covered up. Everything looks great. I'm going to tell y'all that I'm really excited to get this piece down because I have started and stopped taping this one section. This will be my 5th time. So hopefully I can get through to the very end without any more screw-ups. I guess this is what happens when you are doing something for the very first time. You don't have a clue. All right. So the next part is to add this little pocket down here on the bottom. We'll need to add the closure on here before we glue everything down. But I'm going to hit ink this piece of paper. I didn't tell you the measurements, did I? This is 4 inches tall by 5 1/4 inches wide. 1 2 3 4 5 1/4. 1 2 3 4 tall. And it's going to be positioned right here. And look at there, another weak spot. This part isn't going to show anywhere, so I'm going to get a piece of washi tape to stick on there. This pocket measures 6 3/8 inches wide by 4 1/2 inches tall. You want to score 1/2 inch around on the right side, the bottom, and the left, and then miter all of the corners. All right, before we put that down, sure that fits and I don't have to trim anything. Yeah, it looks good. I'll use the lines on my craft mat here to just kind of line these things up. All right, let's see, we had, yeah, that matches. Again, I'll put a little extra space in there before I put these down. All right. I'll go ahead and get this glued down now. Alright guys, I think I might be getting the hang of this. Let's go ahead and attach our string closure. I just tied two knots. I spoke too soon. Must have some glue issues in here. Be careful if you have to do this because you can rip right through your work. Okay, I'm not going to bore you with this struggle. It obviously has some glue issues down here on the side, so this doesn't want to go in. I'll do that off camera. But the next piece we're going to do is the little mini notebook. And I'll go ahead and get set up for that, and we'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I had serious glue issues down here on the side, so the backing of the notepad would not go in all the way, and all I was doing was, I was afraid I was going to rip everything open. So what I ended up doing was just cutting this way off. You don't need all of it anyway to hold it into the slot, so now it works perfectly. Problem solved. Okay, now we're going to make our mini booklet. What you need is a piece of 12 by 12 decorative paper. I did not have any 12 by 12 Christmas paper, so I picked something very neutral, which is going to work better anyway. You want to score at, let me get my other one. You want to score at 3, 6, and 9. You want to turn the paper and score at 6. You want to fold all of it. Oh, I forgot one. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. All right, you want to fold all of these and burnish them. You can probably see this better on the back. So we scored at 3, 6, and 9. Turned the paper once and scored at 6. Right, if you have directional paper, this is the top, this would be the bottom, and you want to cut down the center line to the 3rd score line, or the 1st score line from this side. Use either your scissors or a craft knife. So what we need to do now, before we glue anything down, is to distress all of these score lines. And I'll do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I have inked all of the score lines on the front and the back. Now, I want this side of the paper to be on the inside of my booklet. So we're going to fold here, fold under, fold over, and then take this and fold down, over, under, over. And then this ends up being the front of our booklet. When you open this up, you'll see that there's going to be a top pocket here. You open it again, there will be a side pocket here. Open it up again, and another top pocket. So what we're going to do now is cut a notch where these pockets are going to be, and then we'll glue them down. Alright, so for this first pocket, we're going to glue down this side and across the bottom. And I'm going to use art glitter glue for this just because it sets up fairly quickly. There's our little tiny spine. All right, I'm going to attach some additional pockets in the mini booklet. And you'll need, if you want to do the same, I cut 3 little side pockets or tucks measuring 6 inches wide by 1.5 inches tall. So the first one I'm going to place here. The next one I'm going to place here. And the next one I'm going to place here. I also included one additional little pocket and placed it here. That pocket measures 3 3/4 inches across and 3.5 inches tall. You want to score 1/2 inch around the right, the bottom, and the left-hand side. This paper was a little bit thin, so I put a little piece of masking tape inside just to reinforce those edges. Not something you have to do, but rather be safe than sorry. Glue that down, give it a good press. Make sure those things don't get glued down. All right, the next thing that we need to do is cover the front and the back with some decorative paper and put some tabs on the back and the front for our closure. So we'll go cut some paper for that and I'll be right back. Okay, I have my paper cut out. So we're going to glue this down to the front. Alright, now I'm going to add these little tabs for the closure on the front cover and the back cover. Line this up as best you can with the front cover. That looks good. Alright, I need to go punch holes in these tabs and install some grommets, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I've put in grommets in these tabs and cut 2 pieces of seam binding roughly 12 inches long. I'll go ahead and put those on. Go, and now your little notebook is ready to decorate and fill with tags. All right, the next section we're going to work on is this part right here, which is this little flip up, this pocket, and I think I'll probably go ahead and do this section too. We'll see. All right, so I'll be back with the next tutorial. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope it wasn't terribly confusing. You got to see the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next part. Thanks. Bye.